Dear students, hello. Today we are continue to speak about organizing, to speak about the second function of management. And today we are discussing organizational structures. Let me share my presentation. Okay, let's begin. So today we are speaking about organizational structures. Generally, when we spoke about organizing function during previous lecture, I provided you with the simple definition of organizational structure, like relationship between vertical and horizontal dividing of labor. But since now you have more information, it's quite obvious that organizational structure must reflect strategy of the company. So during planning function, having defined our mission, our vision, our objectives, and everything mentioned is strategy of the company, we have to create a structure, we have to create relationship between people which enable to attain the mentioned objectives. According to this information, we can set the definition as following: that organizational structure is a system that outlines how certain activities are directed in order to achieve the goals of the organization. Anyway, we have to create some relationships. We have to divide our employees according to functions or according to levels of management. But there are some other ways to do it. There are some exceptions, and we will speak about it at the second part of our lecture, of our today's lecture, I mean. Generally, there are two types of organizational structure: centralized and decentralized. Centralized means that we have, like here in this left part of the picture in blue, we have some boss, some management, some manager at top management level. Then we have some management at middle management level, and we have some managers at the lowest management level. And before this lecture, mostly students believe that it is the only way how to build the organizational structure of the company. And when I define the topic of our today's lecture, I think you thought that it must be like some pyramid, something like that, like here. But it's not the only practice. There are some other possible ways how to build the organizational structure, and today I will present you one of the other way to build the organizational structure. We will discuss holacracy. But firstly, I'd like to discuss with you the classical types of organizational structures. So let's begin with the classical, traditional, I would say, types of organizational structures. The first type of the structure is functional structure. So here we can see CEO, Chief Executive Officer, and there are some departments, and these departments are divided according to functions. Actually, in our university, we have the same structure, so we have if speaking about university, our university is much bigger, certainly much bigger, but we have some educational and non-educational departments, and also all educational departments are divided according to specialties for our students. And in between we have some institutes. The old name was faculty, and nowadays we have not faculties but institutes in our university. So according to this organizational structure, the organization being divided into some groups or departments, and each department has a manager, and the top management level can set some tasks to all management, to all managers at the middle management level, and they then set some tasks to the employees, to the final employees, or maybe to the lowest management level if there are more than 2 levels of management in the organization. If speaking about our university, we have more than one. Generally, the advantage of this structure is that employees are grouped by skills and set of functions. So, for example, if I'm working if I'm dealing with sales, I'm speaking and I have relationships with everybody who deals with the problem. If speaking about our university, for example, now I work at the Department of Management, so actually we are communicating, and if I need some support, for example, some book to be advised for me for some courses, it is easy for me to ask my peers to help me. But the problem of this structure is that it is very difficult to communicate with other departments. So if you ask me what is happening now in other departments of our university, actually, I don't know, and there is no formal possibility to have this information. Yes, in our university we have some councils. We have council of our institute, and we call it as a big council, the council of our university. But it's difficult to to share information or to ask for some additional information through these type of communication. The next typical structure is a divisional structure. When organization is being divided to some units, not according to functions, but according to some other characteristics. It could be, usually it is some region or some product. As an example, you can read from this screen. As an example, it can be taken company General Electric. It has a lot of divisions. This company is a diversified company. Thereafter, there are like several small companies in this big company. And keeping in mind this example, it is quite easy to understand why it's not possible to use functional organizational structure in this organization. It's because it's not possible to use the same marketing approaches or the same sales approaches to a different to the different parts of these, to the different, not parts, okay, sorry, to the different strategical business units of these diversified company. It means that, okay, you know that General Electric, they have a lot of strategical business units, energy, finance, machine building, and okay, if speaking about energy, it's not possible to use some marketing approaches like direct sales or etc. So we have to, firstly, we have to divide our company into some subunits, and then we can manage every strategical business unit. Or it can be done geographically. For example, as it is mentioned here, because if we have some different countries for our business, the way of, for example, advertising will vary. Okay. As an example, I can set you, like, for example, a McDonald's company. You know that in the traditional dish in McDonald's is beefsteak from beef, yeah. But you know that in India this type of food is forbidden because the cow is like the god animal, and it's not possible to eat cows, to eat beef in India. Thereafter, this company had to craft some specific strategy for this very country. Thereafter, marketing strategy for India branch of McDonald's will have a lot of differences compared with other branches. Thereafter, we have to divide our business geographically, for example. And sometimes we can divide it not into strategical business products, not into geographical principle, but just by products. And at this picture, this picture is like a small bridge from the first simple types of organizational structure to more complicated ones, and you can see from this picture that there is a mixture of the two mentioned structure, and it is definitely possible to mix the divisional type of the organizational structure and functional type of the organizational structure. So here we have the divisional structure, and then from product on we have functional structure. So it is like a mixture of two types of the mentioned organizational structure. The third type of traditional or classic organizational structure is the matrix organizational structure. It means that the organization has several businesses. At this picture you can see three type of businesses, and as any organization, it has a lot of functional sphere, and every employee in this organization, it has one manager from the project and one manager from the functional sphere. So we have here vice director on marketing, for example, vice director on sales, and vice director on services. Here we have vice director on electronics division, vice director for home goods, and some snacks. Okay, and for example, every employee in this department has one supervisor from marketing line, and also from this project. So they are working for this very project, but they also has relationships with the vice director on marketing. Generally, as you can see from this picture, I decided to save it in the right bottom corner. It is also like a mixture of functional and product or project organizational structure, and when we are using this structure, it means that everybody in the organization is accountable for at least two or more supervisors. And thereafter, it could be some challenges compared with the functional structure or compared with the divisional structure, because it could be some conflicts. For example, if I am the project manager, I'd like everybody to work for my project, and if there are at least two projects within this company, it could be a small conflict between these two managers, and also if a subordinate, if a subordinate has more than one supervisor, it could be a situation that these two supervisors say different things or are setting different objectives. Thereafter, it could be some challenges for this very person, what he or she has to do, the order of the first supervisor or the order of the second supervisor. But the advantages of these type of organizational structure is that some employee can share his or her knowledge across the different functional divisions of companies. So this structure allows better communication within organization. But as I told you, it is better communication, there is better communication, but if we are using this structure, it will be more difficult for us to control these very organizational structure. And I'd like to, during the second part of our lecture, I'd like to stress that the mentioned three typical organizational structure are not the only. And I'd like to set you an example of the new type of organizational structure, and this structure, organizational structure called as holacracy. From this picture, you can see the main difference between traditional or hierarchical structure and holacracy. In traditional structure, anyway, we have some pyramid. We have some CEO. Okay, it was some problems. It was some problems with the internet, so I'm coming back. Anyway, we have somebody on the top, somebody in the middle, and at the bottom we have staff. And in this very structure, we had some personnel, and everybody plays some role, and usually everybody in the organization plays a lot of roles. So this big super circle is like the general purpose, the general objective of the department or of the organization. If the organization is big enough, this super circle is like the department. If organization is a small one, it could be general organization at all. And everybody could be involved into some project. And this small middle light blue circle means it is like a project or it is an objective, and there is some people who are involved into attaining of these very objective. Okay. For example, now we are discussing, if speaking about our department, we are discussing the exam, the final exam. And we are discussing that we have to build a team of professors who are responsible for creating this program for this very exam. Okay, and these persons are involved into this circle. And what is very important that everybody here is at this very picture, here is written that everybody is only in one circle, but usually a person is involved into a lot of circles. As I am a professor, I'm involved, for example, into this part, into this task. Also, now we are preparing an article, and also we decided to build a team for preparing this article, and also I'm a part of this very circle. Also, I have some tasks within our big circle. We have some general tasks for everybody. For example, I have to support our educational process. So I'm playing a lot of roles, but some roles are for the total department, but some are can be separated into one circle. And this is the holography. It means that every circle must have at least one common objective, and also a leader, and also some project team. Sorry. Just a moment. Dear students, I think it is some problems with my computer, so I will share my screen in this very way. Okay, so flat structures, generally flat structures means that usually in traditional organization it is not possible to communicate with the leader of the organization, and in flat structures it is only small destination from the lowest employee in the organization to the head of the organization. So it is a big benefit that in these type of organizational structure, it is very easy to communicate, it is very easy to share information, but what is more difficult that in this very situation, everybody must be highly motivated to be involved into process of attaining of the organizational objectives. And if speaking about the differences between holacracy and traditional hierarchy, you can see from here that here is the traditional pyramid, and here is the holographic organization. There are, at this picture, you can see 3 circles, and you can see that some people are involved into different circles. It means that, what is a circle? A circle, I'm repeating, the circle is a project or a common objective which must be attained within using this team. And this term, holacracy, was developed by the company, and as you can see here, Ternary Software, and then they decided to create the typical organizational structure then that can be used not only by this very organization, but which can be used by any organization. And the term of holacracy, you must know the last part, cracy, it's like democracy, and control, it is power. But the first part of the word came from Greek word holon, as a whole or unit. It means that the organization, within organization, we have some units with power in every unit. And if we are using this holacracy type of the organization, we are using roles instead of job descriptions, because everybody plays a lot of different roles. And sometimes a person can play some additional role, and it wasn't possible to think about it when he was involved in this common activity, general common activity of the organization or of the department. That's why it's not possible to prepare the job descriptions, but it is possible to describe some roles, and mostly it is being done not in formal way, but with the help of some informal communication. For example, as it was, if speaking about our department, I decided to, I found an interesting proposition to prepare a chapter in some book published in US, and I publish these information, and I say, okay, if somebody wishes to work with me, okay, let's do it. So we create some like virtual team. If speaking about this very project, I was like a manager of this project, and everybody who was involved into this project plays his or her own roles. And how to manage these circles. It is much more difficult compared with the traditional organizational structure, because we don't have some formal relationships in every circle. And nevertheless, we have to use an integrative decision making instead of consensus-based system. It means that anyway, we have to use the rational structure, the rational type of decision in this very type of the organizational structure. And if speaking about advantages of holacracy, it is a very efficient type of organizational structure. It is transparent and it is possible to, it stimulates initiative. So anybody in the organization can create this circle, can set some objective within the organizational mission. Within the mission, I'm stressing one more time that if speaking about the organization, there is the biggest circle is the mission of the organization. And it is possible for everybody to create a circle, to set some objective, to support mission of the organization or mission of the department, and to create a team, to involve other players into this circle, and as far as everybody are motivated, so the way of attaining of this very objective will be the best one. And also holacracy makes individuals more responsible for their own thoughts and actions. Because, you know, if it is a very big organization, it is rather difficult to understand the responsibility of everybody. But if there is some small circle, the number of players, the number of actors within some circle is rather small. Thereafter, it is very easy to understand the responsibility of everybody. But as you know from your life experience, every coin has two sides. Thereafter, there are some disadvantages connected with holacracy. It is very difficult to transform old management system to holacracy model, especially if there is rather long experience. Then it is rather difficult to find some resources to these transformation, and the last but not least, that it is rather difficult to people to understand and to adopt themselves to these new structures. Thereafter, some people can leave the company during this period of adaptation. Thank you for listening. Thank you.